guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vuvu and this is Vuvu Vena Reads. If you are new here, please consider pressing the red subscribe button down below. But if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, fam. And thank you for joining me once again. On today's video, I'm just sharing with you guys my 5 tips on how you can read more books than you think you're capable of, right? Because I've had people asking on my comment sections, in private, just generally how I manage to read as many books as I do read when I have a 9 to 5. And this year I don't even have a helper. Last year it was easier because I did have another grown up in the house that was helping me take care of the kids. This year I don't have a helper. They were also wondering, like I'm saying, I've got a 9 to 5. I'm a single mom without a helper. And I've got other things that I'm doing on the side. So the question is, honestly, where do you find the time? So the tips that I'm sharing with you are tips that have worked for me as well. So here are my 5, oh, that's 10. Let's try that again. So here are my 5 tips on how you can read more.
So Vuvu Vena Reads is an amazing book reviewer, also YouTuber. She reviews books on YouTube, and if I'm not mistaken, she also has a blog as well. So please, if for your connection with literature, get in touch with or follow at VUVUVENA_reads. She is based in South Africa, and I think it is also extremely important to follow literary content creators who are based outside of the West and in continental Africa, because they do a really good job of bridging the gap.
We appreciate you, Vuvu, for bringing us Turning Pages and for bringing us your BookTube channel.
You know, this is a chance for people to actually see some people that I really enjoy.
Please consider pressing the red subscribe button down below. And if you are returning, welcome back, fam.
Vuvu, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
So the first tip is to read first thing in the morning. So that means you have to be intentional about your reading. You have to set out a time when you will be most likely to read. And for me, first thing in the morning works because I know what time my kids wake up. So when I say first thing in the morning, it means that I will wake up before them, brew myself a cup of coffee, sit down on at my reading nook, or go back to bed and open a book and read. And that works because there's absolute silence. I don't get notifications on my phone. I don't have people calling, disturbing me. I don't have my kids asking for my attention. Even if I can block out a solid hour, that's probably my fastest reading that I can do because I've got no other distractions. I haven't started worrying about what's gonna happen next when my kids wake up. What are they gonna eat? What are they gonna wear? Are we gonna be early for school? Are we going to be late? Am I in the mood? I don't have those stresses on me yet. So that is pure unhindered reading, and that is my best time to read. That's the best experience for me if I want to, and especially if I'm reading a book that I absolutely enjoy. First thing in the morning, waking up early, intentional about that reading time is what gets me going. And like I'm saying, you read faster because there's less distractions, and it means that you get through the book faster as well. So that's tip number 1, read first thing in the morning. I know that there are people that read in the evenings. I used to be able to do that when I was when I still had help. I can't do that anymore because come evening time, I am a zombie. There's no other way to explain it. If you know the zombies that dance in Thriller in the evening, this is me walking like this, because there's absolutely no way that my energy can't be spent when I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old in the house, and I still have to work and I still have to do other things on the side. By the time it's 8 p.m, all I want to curl up to is a good movie/series. If I even finish an episode or a full movie, that would be a miracle. But that's all I want. That's the only art form I want in the evenings. However, like I'm saying before, I could manage to read in the mornings and read at night because I still had pockets of energy saved up for that kind of reading. So reading in the evenings works for most people. There are people that complain because at the end of the day, you are naturally running over how the day went and trying to figure out how the following day should roll, right? So your mind, even if it's not the notifications which will be there at 8 p.m, people are still awake, they'll still be contacting you on your social medias. You can put your phone on do not disturb, but my point is this: there will be distractions. Chances are the people that you live with, if you live with people, are still up as well. If you don't live with anyone, by the way, any time is tea time, okay? When it comes to reading, you can read at any point in time. So maybe the next tips, maybe 2 or 3 tips from this list will be helpful to you as well if you still want to charge or kickstart that. So I'd advise mornings as opposed to evenings. That's what I'm trying to communicate. So the second tip is that I read a lot on the weekends. I'm sure you guys saw my previous vlog. I'll link it up here if you haven't. But when I'm feeling like I haven't gotten to the goal that I wanted to get to for a certain month, and seemingly this year I'm low-key aiming for at least 5 books a month, right? So if I haven't gotten to that goal and I'm seeing it's mid-month, I will put things into place that will make sure that I can block out a weekend or a full Saturday just to read. And when I say just to read, the bare minimum, and when I say just to read, the bare minimum that I'm doing is feeding my kids, bathing them, and feeding myself, and probably to be honest with you, probably not bathing until I feel like I've gotten to a certain point in this book where I can enjoy certain luxuries. So aside from eating and using the loo, all I do is read, and I try and ignore my phone as much as possible. So I put it on silent, I miss calls, I miss texts, etc., because that's my mission, is to get to a point where I feel like, okay, I've gotten to a comfortable point where I know at the end of this month I will have reached the goal that I've set for myself for this month. So weekends for me are very, because it's not like, okay, no, let me not say we, because I wanted to say we. I was about to say it's not like we go anywhere these days, but I really don't go anywhere these days, because me going anywhere means I have to take my 2 kids with me, I have to plan it properly, I have to deal with my anxiety about being out, etc. So for me, it's not even a thing. I'm happy to be sitting at home reading. So that's my second tip: use your weekends to read as much as you possibly can. And you can still practice the whole I woke up at night or I slept late. Some people cross nights, guys. Some people read through the night on weekends, so they know that on a Friday I'll read through the night and sleep in on the Saturday, or whatever the case is, or do it on a Saturday. But they do have what you call readathons of I dedicate 12 hours, 6 hours just to reading this weekend, and that works as well. The third tip is any free time you have. So this is talking to the people that have other people in their environments, as well as the people that live alone. I sometimes, if I haven't blocked out that weekend for reading, but I feel like now I'm free, I've done everything that I wanted to do in the house and I could read, but I want to be in the common area, in the living area, then I plug in music. That's my biggest trick if you have to read in an environment that has people. So if it's during your lunch hour at work and you feel like there'll be noise and you'll be distracted, I listen to calming music as well as classical music when I read in those environments, and that has helped me a lot, especially with my pace as well as I'm reading, because I'm not distracted by the noise externally, and the sound in my ear is not sound that makes me want to yay or sing along, because there's no lyrics there. So this really helps. I only listen to music while I read when I know I'm in a situation where I need to block out external noise. However, on a regular day, if my kids are in the living room and I'm upstairs, I can read with the external noise of the neighbors, the kids, etc. But when I need to focus and I know that chances are I can't require silence from anyone, let me just focus on this book, then I'll pop those in. And even if I'm in my room and struggling to get into the book because of my mind keeps wandering, I do plug in my classical music and read. So that's the third book. That's the third tip. Use any time that you have as an opportunity for you to read if you're really trying to push on the number of books that you want to read. And remember, right, reading is leisure. It shouldn't be pressure. You shouldn't feel like these things that I'm sharing with you are things that are like homework, that you must do it, otherwise you won't get to 10 books this year. You don't have to. It's not a prerequisite. I know that there were years where I only managed to read 8 books, 5 books a year, and I didn't feel the pressure. So my point here is, the more you read, however, the more your pace increases and the faster you can get through certain books. So if you feel like you're experiencing some kind of slump, or you're trying to figure out how to get to your target but still containing the leisure and the joy of reading, not feeling like this is prescribed or that you are competing, because you're not competing with anyone, right? Then you can follow these tips, but don't put them on you as something that is hard, fast, and must be done because I want to get to 20 books. No, then you will lose the whole point of the art form that is literature. So don't do that to yourselves. But if you have a slump, or you're having issues getting through books and you really have a desire to, without putting any pressure on yourself, then these tips would be helpful. So tip number 4 is read with other people. That for me was my game changer, right? So when it comes to the pacing, because I was doing 12 books, 14 books by the time that I realized, let me read with other people. I was doing 14 books, 20 I think was the last pile of books I managed to do in a year. But I think maybe 2 or 3 of those I read with other people. But when I consistently made it a point that each and every month there's a book that I'm gonna read with other people, the number of books that I read by the end of the year increased dramatically for me, because I managed to finish 30 books last year. And that's only because a majority of those, if not even half of those, I was reading with other people. So join the book clubs. Tell your friend you want to read a certain book with them so that you can discuss it. Do buddy reads. Find other people that are reading the same book as you online, and approach them and say, you know what, I'm also reading let's see. So you say, you know what, I'm also reading Homegoing. Could we read it together? I see that you are about to start it. And chances are high that readers will say yes, because it's nice to have somebody that you can aha with, if you get what I'm trying to say, to figure out that this moment was not something that only happened in my head, or even somebody that you can show a different side to the messaging that was in the book. And that's the fun of reading with other people, because no, I don't believe that any one book lands the same on every single reader, because we are as diverse as how we consume the books. So it's nice to have those conversations, which aren't debates. No one is forced to have the same opinion with you, but the same opinion as you, but you are engaging and opening up your scope to understand what it is you could have missed, or what it is that you would have never ever thought a certain thing meant, because of who you are and because of who the next person is. So I absolutely love reading with other people because of the discovery and the further depth that you get into whatever it is that you have read. So that's tip number 4, and like I'm saying, tip number 4 for me was my game changer. So I'm constantly reading something with someone. And then the last tip is talking to something that I've already mentioned in passing, and that is to set yourself your own goals. So if you're saying, I want to read 6 books this year and I'm gonna run them over 2 months, right? 1 book over 2 months. Then at the end of the 2 months, finish your book, because that's part of keeping integrity with yourself. You must be able to say, it's not just for content producers or whatever. If you have said to yourself, there is a goal that you have said that I want to read more this year, and reading more means if I read 5 books last year, at least this year can I read 6 books, then you have to put the steps and actions into place to stay true to yourself. There's nothing that is as heartbreaking as losing integrity with yourself, saying you'll do something and then do the opposite or not do it at all. So set your goal. Don't just, okay, fine, I find that it helps me if I don't just read just for reading, right? Because it is something that I really enjoy. So if I say to myself, this year my target is 40 books, because last year I managed to do 30 books, then I have to do everything that I can to make sure that I get to 40 books. And like I'm saying, without losing the joy of reading, without losing the leisure of the art form that is book reading, but having fun while chasing that goal. But you have to know what you are doing, as in you have to know what your target is for you to be able to hit a goal. And those are my 5 tips all in all, to be honest. And I hope that somebody somewhere was helped by these. And these are all tips that I follow myself. And if you do follow any of these tips, please do let me know in the comment section down below, and let me know if you have extra tips that people can come on here in this community and pick up on that can help them read a bit more than they already do. But without saying anything more, thank you so very much for joining me today. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I love you very much. Bye now.